Okay, good morning. We're here with Alex Quast, who is the owner of Zandel Backhoe. He is a journeyman plumber, gas fitter, and licensed private sewage designer and installer. And you're registered with both the federal and provincial governments. So thank you for being here today, Alex. We've invited you here to talk about our upcoming wastewater treatment project and the Sunbreaker Cove tie-in to the municipal sewage treatment line. And I know you've got some experience with that. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience in the other communities?
I've been doing this kind of work for over 20 years. Back when I used to work for a plumbing company out of Red Deer, I did a lot of Jarvis Bay when they first came through. Jarvis has been going for 18 years or better. And then shortly after I started my business in 2007, Norglenwold came through and they put their sewer main in, and I did a little better than half, just about 3/4 of the installs over there. And then when Birchcliff put their main through 3-4 years ago, I've done about 95%, 97% of the properties up in there. So I've got quite a bit of experience in this. I also have been sent out by the Summer Village to assist other contractors that have picked up the occasional job here and there in the Summer Village, just to make sure that the proper fittings, the proper materials, and they're using the proper pump before that everything gets installed and backfilled, just to save the homeowner time and money.
Great. What would you recommend residents at Sunbreaker Cove can do to prepare for this project?
One of the main things that they need to do to be prepared for this is to stay in communication with the Summer Village. Even if they're not completely on board with the sewer system, they're still kind of hesitant or have a lot of questions. The only way you're going to get answers to these questions is to stay in contact with the Summer Village. Keep an open channel. They're going to email you information, contact information. Birchcliff, when Birchcliff happened, the contractor had the contract to drill into the properties. And they gave a tremendous price on that. I don't know if that's going to be the same in Sunbreaker Cove or not, but if it is, the Summer Village will be sending out emails for homeowners to sign up and get on the list of those to drill. That can save huge money for property owners. Birchcliff was drilled in at $17 a meter, a huge saving to homeowners, because regular that would be anywhere from $55 to $85 a meter. So it was a huge savings to homeowners. And if they're not in good communication or checking their emails from the Summer Village office, they can miss that sign up to get on the list to be drilled in. The other thing that homeowners can do to help their process is be in contact with an installer like myself, or there be a few other installers that they can contact and get different pricing and keep us all competitive and fair. But talk with an installer so that everything is lined up. So when the drillers are drilling into the property, we have an idea of where the line's coming in, where the septic tank is, so we can dig a hole right beside the septic tank, a small excavation for the driller to drill into, pull the line back. When they're done connecting it at their end to the main, we'll then connect it to your tank and backfill. We can keep the excavation size to a minimum on your property by doing it in that order. If you don't talk to an installer and line this all up, the drillers will still drill into your property if you sign up, but they won't be as close to the tank as we would like as an installer if I come later at a different date, because they don't want to drill into your tank and damage it. They will come out of the ground 10, 15 feet before the tank. Now we have to dig back another, sometimes 20, 30 feet to get that line buried back down to a below frost and then tie it into the tank. So you can see if we dig a 5-foot or 6-foot hole near the tank and they drill into it versus digging halfway across your property, there's a huge cost savings to stay in contact with the Summer Village. The other thing that homeowners can do is talk to your electrician. If you have a specified electrician, one that's done tons of work on your home, that's no problem. The electrical side of this is fairly easy. It's a 220 line out for the grinder pump and a 110 circuit for the high level alarm that will be in your septic tank. Some people already have a high level alarm in their tank. We just reuse that. Some people have a pump or a septic pump in their tank. We can steal the 110 that used to feed that pump and turn that into the high level, and then it's just a 220 circuit. But definitely talk to an electrician. Have him come out to your property prior to the work being done. He needs to look at the electrical panel, make sure there's room in the panel to put breakers in. These systems, the 220 needs to be on its own breaker and the 110. So you need two spaces for this system. So you don't want to steal power from an outside electrical plug-in to feed power for the high level alarm. Somebody comes along, plugs something in, blows a breaker, your alarm isn't working anymore. So you need two spaces free and available in your panel. 220, that'll be three spaces that you need. So call an electrician, have them come in. They'll have a look at your panel, make recommendations. If the panel's too old, not enough room, if they can put a sub panel in. This is all prior to doing the work. Definitely. That's kind of the stage. Stay in contact with the Summer Village, talk to an installer, get everything laid out, get a price laid out, talk to an electrician, and get that all figured out, and then you're ready to go.
That's excellent advice. Thank you. And so can you then walk us through what the process looks like once they hire you to come in and that line has been dug?
So once the main is, so if a homeowner hires me, once the main is put in from one end to the other, they'll start drilling in and scheduling the service lines coming in to the properties. And I stay in contact with the general contractor that's putting the main in and drilling the individual lines in. And so I schedule with him my customers and my clients, so I can stay on top of things. So then I will call first call, or the contractor will call first call to have all the utilities marked on the property. Some properties, pretty simple. Other properties, there might be a second call, which they'll locate a private line. So a private line is if your gas or your power goes, say, to your garage, and you have a detached garage off to the side, and then that power and gas goes underground over to your house, that's a secondary line. So calling ATCO and Fortis, they will only mark the power and gas to the garage. The lines going to the house, you own those. So it's your responsibility to have those marked out. So I will line that up, have a second guy come in there, mark those out. Then the day that the contractor is going to drill into the property, I will be there with my machine. We dig a small excavation near the tank. They drill in, tie it into the main. Once they're done out there, I tie in the other end. We'll backfill, clean up, and then the electrician can run his power out there, get that all installed. If we have to install manhole risers, because some people's tanks, the lid will be buried. I've seen that quite a bit, just a holding tank or something. The cement risers actually need to be out of the ground and a proper insulated lid put on top. That way we can access to put the pump in. So we'll do all that work at that time. Backfill, clean up, electrician does his thing. Then we just have to sit and wait till the main is completed. All the service lines have been run in. They'll do a pressure test system, make sure that there's no leaks. And then once the system is commissioned by the engineers, the installation contractor, and the Summer Village office, they'll do a complete walkthrough, test every valve works, make sure everything is good. They'll give the thumbs up. They send out an email to myself, and then I go through my list of clients and start at one end to the other, and I just go along and install all the pumps. And after I'm done installing the pump, the inspector inspects it. I turn the valve on at the road, plug the pump in. We run it through a couple cycles to make sure that check valve opens, check valve closes. no leaks, and everything is good. And then you're on the system and you're going.
Can you give me an idea of some of the common misconceptions that some residents have around this project?
Sure. The first misconception that some of the residents have, and even some of the installers I've seen in some of the other summer villages that aren't installing anymore, there's no check valve out at the main. So you have a main, you'll have a little bit of pipe coming to your property line, and then there's a CC valve, the exact same style of valve that's in all municipalities. I have one in my driveway in front of my house. It turns on my water and turns my water off. That valve is down 7-8 feet in the ground. Same thing with this. So you'll have main, little stub of pipe, a CC valve, or compression valve as it's called, and then the pipe goes to your tank. There is no check valve out buried in the ground. Lots of people believe there's a check valve out there. There isn't. For you to put a check valve in out there, you would have to have a manhole or an access to that, because it's a working part. It opens, it closes. If the thing sticks closed, we have to dig it up. So the check valve is not out there, it's in your tank. The other misconception that people have is backwater valves. Lots of people think they have a backwater valve in their house. Unless your house was built in the last 5 years, 8 years maybe, most places in the country or summer villages like you guys have, because you're right now a private system, you are closed, you are a holding tank, or you're a septic system on your property that doesn't leave your property, you will not have a mainline backwater valve. That's the valve that's in your basement where the sewer exits your house before it gets to your septic tank or to a municipal system like mine in town. That stops sewer backing up from the main or from your septic tank into your house. Most of you guys out in the summer villages and in rural areas don't have that, because you have a high level alarm. When the alarm goes off, that's your signal to stop flushing, stop using water, stop having a shower. Even with a mainline backwater valve in that situation, that will not save you if you don't stop using water. It can still close, and if you're still using water, it's still going to flood your basement. That's why those aren't installed in your guys' residence. Now that you're on a municipal system, that's not part of the install that I do. But you can definitely talk to a plumber about having something like that installed just for that added safety. I've done a couple in Birchcliff that wanted it done. They, for their insurance purposes, they wanted it. They just wanted that extra bit of comfort. It's not impossible to do. But that's one of the misconceptions that, I have a backwater valve. Probably not. You have a clean out, but not a backwater valve. And there is no check valve at the main. It is in your tank.
Great, thank you. I know the majority of residents are most concerned about cost. Because those costs vary so dramatically from property to property, can residents call you directly to get a more accurate estimate and quote?
Yes.
And where can they reach you at?
They can reach me through the Summer Village office. They have my contact information here. They can also reach me via email, zandel.baco@gmail.com. They can also find my number, I do believe, in the Yellow Pages. And I also have a Facebook page. So they can contact me in those different areas. They can also reach me on my office number, 403-782-1716. And the cost, the pricing, it's hard to, everyone's property is unique. Everybody's property has their own unique situation, whether it's a fence, a shed, trees. I just did a job in Jarvis Bay 2 weeks ago, where they had 3 beautiful apple trees, absolutely beautiful. And we had to get a sewer line between these trees to the septic tank from a garage. And, if I come in there with a machine and dig, I'm going to probably kill these trees. So it was decided, let's use a hydrovac. Hydrovac does very little damage, very little disruption. And that was the process. So it's hard to price. I can't pigeonhole everybody. It's a generic cost. Give me a shout. I'll come out, have a look at your property. Information's always free. I live in the area. This is my area. So if you want, give me a call. I'll come out, have a look at your property, give you a rough cost of what it's going to be. I can give you a firm cost as well once we get a little closer to the time, because markets and the price of pipe and pumps and all that kind of stuff. And just until the system is completely engineered and I see a blueprint or a layout of how the work's being done and make sure there's no changes from the other summer villages that I've done in the past, then I can give a firm, this is what it's going to cost you. And they should also talk to an electrician and get that price, because that I don't price electrical. I only price the excavation, the cleanup, and installing the pump, not the electrical. That even if I provide an electrician, which I've done in the past, I have a couple electricians that I've done the bulk of Birchcliff with. Those two companies, they are separate identities. They have nothing to do with me. Their bill is their bill. I don't even see it. I don't even know for the most part what those cost, unless the homeowner tells me, this is what it costs. Other than that, I don't know those prices. So it's hard to, until you call me to come out to the property, it's really hard to give a generic, this is what everybody's going to pay.
That's understandable. Well, thank you so much for being here, Alex. So it's Alex Quast from Zandel Backhoe. And again, thank you so much for the information. And we'll encourage residents to give you a call.
Perfect. Thank you.
Bye-bye.